Welcome to the deep dive. So you've brought us some source material focusing on circular furniture design.
That's right, yeah. And our mission today really is to unpack the key ideas and, the significance of this approach,
Okay.
but strictly based only on the text you've given us.
Got it. Just the source material.
Exactly. We'll look at how your source contrasts it with the traditional way of doing things.
The linear model.
Yeah, that one. And also why it flags the design stage itself as being so incredibly critical.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that. Your source does start by drawing that contrast, doesn't it? Describing the traditional linear model,
It really does. It positions circular design as like a fundamental break from that standard take, make, dispose approach.
which it says most industries, furniture included, have kind of followed historically.
hmm And the source implies that this linear way inherently leads to, well, waste and resource depletion too.
Right. And then here's where it seems to get really specific, because your source pivots straight to the design phase.
It does. Makes a pretty bold claim, suggesting design alone might determine, what, up to 80% of a product's environmental footprint?
80%. That's huge. Why does the source say design has that much leverage?
Well, it's because the choice is made right at the very beginning. Things like the materials you pick,
Ah,
how things are actually put together, even how they can eventually be taken apart.
hmm.
All that sort of predetermines the product's whole journey.
Including its end of life.
Exactly. Its end-of-life outcome.
So, okay, it's less about dealing with waste after it happens and more about preventing it, or maybe designing for future use right from the start.
Precisely. Based on your source, that's why designers are kind of positioned as these key agents for change.
Okay.
It's their job, the source suggests, to build in sustainability and what it calls regenerative principles right from the outset.
Thinking through the whole life cycle before anything's even manufactured.
Before a single piece is made.
And the text points to some core strategies for designers aiming for this circular approach. It specifically mentions durability.
Yes. Durability, modularity, and repairability.
Right.
And, the source doesn't just list these as like good ideas. It calls them essential strategies.
Essential.
Yeah. And if you connect that back to the bigger picture the source is painting, well, durability just means making furniture that lasts longer, right?
Yeah,
Resists needing replacements so often.
makes sense.
Modularity, as the source seems to imply, lets you easily update or replace bits or maybe reconfigure the whole thing.
Ah, okay. So it extends its useful life that way.
Right.
Or helps recover materials later
Could be. And repairability is pretty straightforward. If something breaks, you can fix it.
instead of tossing the whole item.
Exactly. These are presented as concrete ways designers can cut waste and just keep materials in circulation.
So pulling this together, your source frames this as something much bigger than just, say, improving recycling at the end.
Yeah, it seems to raise the bar quite a bit. Yeah. The source explicitly calls circular design nothing less than a paradigm shift.
A paradigm shift. Okay.
It shifts the focus away from just recycling materials after they've kind of lost their value and quality
Right.
towards preserving that value and quality
Right.
by putting design thinking right at the center from the very beginning.
So it's about creating cycles, keeping products, materials at their highest value for as long as possible.
That seems to be the core idea presented in your text, yes.
Okay, let's wrap this up then. The main takeaway from your source seems to be that circular design is presented as this really fundamental change. It redefines the designer's role.
Yeah, from just creating objects to being a, quote, key driver of transformation.
By focusing on strategies like durability, modularity, repairability.
Exactly. It sees those design choices as absolutely essential for cutting waste and extending lifespans, keeping materials moving.
Based on your text, it really hammers home that those initial design choices are fundamental. They're key to creating products that help build an economy that works more like natural systems.
Regenerative and resilient, that's the language the source uses,
Yeah.
rather than a linear sort of depleting system.
And your source leaves us, and you listening, with a pretty compelling thought to chew on.
Mhm.
What does it actually mean to think about the objects around you, your chair, your table, not just as stuff you buy and eventually get rid of,
Yeah.
but as active parts in building what the text calls a regenerative, resilient system? It sort of challenges you to see design as much more than just how something looks, doesn't it?
It really does, as a key environmental leverage point. Something to think about.